Dear students, good afternoon. Welcome to our English seminar for today, in which we are going to cover 4 units in grade 5, Unit 9, Unit 10, Unit 11, and Unit 12. Well, dear students in grade 9, dear colleagues, as you know, today we are going to finish, let's say, or to cover the last units in the student's book of grade 9 and also the activity book. Well, dear students, at the beginning of this seminar, let me first introduce my colleagues in the studio who are going to participate for today. Miss Lujain Al-Nuqari, an English teacher from Homs. Good afternoon, Miss Lujain. And Mr. Mazen Abdel Karim, an English teacher from Damascus countryside. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, dear colleagues, dear students, as you know, as I said, today we will try to talk about a number of grammatical skills mentioned in the 4, let's say, last 4 units. Well, we can talk about the passive voice, of course. Then we are going to have a quick look at the relative clauses and especially the 2 relative pronouns who and which. Then we are going to talk about question tags. Why do we use them, how to make them, and then we are going to talk about the reported speech, and finally we will talk about how to write a wish sentence in English. Of course, we have a number of important texts in the student's book and in the activity book. We will try to cover as we can, according to the time, of course. We will try to cover the important text in these units. Well, let me first ask Ms. Lujain, good afternoon again, about the passive voice. Let's start with the passive voice, Ms. Lujain. When we talk about the passive voice, what do you mean by passive voice? We know that some students focus on the grammatical rule. Not only students, of course, but also some teachers. They focus on the grammatical rules, but sometimes maybe they don't mention the use of the passive voice. Why we use the passive voice in real life? Why we use such structures in the language?
Yes, we use the passive voice in general to talk when we want to emphasize on the action rather than the doer of the action. For example, Omar broke the glass. The glass was broken. Here we are emphasizing on the action itself, not Omar, who is the doer of the action. This is the main usage of passive voice.
Good. So the speaker, when he uses this grammatical structure, we mean that he is more interested in the action more than rather than the doer of the action. When I say the vase was broken,
yes,
it means that the speaker here is more interested in the action. But sometimes, again, he doesn't know the doer of the action. He doesn't know who broke the vase. Yes. So the action attracts the speaker. That's why he uses the such grammatical structure. Yes. But when we use the active voice, of course, the speaker here in this case is more interested in the doer of the action than the action.
Yes.
When we say Tariq broke the vase, not Selma, not Samir, etc. So it means that he is focusing on the doer of the action than the action. It's okay. Now, we know that we have different structures. Of course, there are some steps that must be followed to make passive voice. Of course, we have different tenses in the active. All tenses, we call them active tenses. They can be written in the active voice. But of course, they can be changed into passive. Yes. As I said, there are many steps that must be followed. Would you please give us an idea about these steps?
Of course, in the active, we have in the sentence subject, verb, and object. For example, children play basketball every weekend. To turn it into passive, we make the object the first word in the sentence. It becomes basketball is played by children.
Okay.
Here we changed, we wrote object, verb to be, and verb 3.
Good.
Okay? And the rest of the sentence. We have, of course, we have many tenses. We begin with the simple present, which is, yes, John washes the car every morning. This is an example. How do we transform it into passive voice?
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yes,
Maybe we have a call from Hamdi. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Hamdi.
Hello?
Hamdi.
Hello?
Yes, please.
Oh. Hello?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Your name, please.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Your name, please.
والله المناهج
In English, in English.
كثيرة بس يا ريت يعني في شيء.
In English, please. In English. Not in Arabic. We are very sorry. What's your question?
No.
What do you want? What do you want to ask? Okay. He's not with us. Maybe I've heard him asking about the courses, the curriculum. Maybe. The curriculum, maybe if you want to ask Hamdi about this curriculum, I mean grade 9, there will be no change for the next year in grade 9, in the curriculum of grade 9, in grade 9. No change in the course for the next year.
Yes.
So you should know that. Thank you. Thanks for your call. Let's go back, please.
Yes, we go back to the tenses.
The explanation, yes.
Yes. We begin with a simple present. The form is object.
Yes.
Verb to be, is, are, of course, and verb 3 or past participle. For example, in the active, John washes the car every morning. John is the subject, washes is the verb, the car is the object, every morning is the complement of the sentence. The car is the object, so we put it first. It becomes in passive, the car is washed every morning.
Yes.
Two in brackets by John. Here we will later talk about by John. Here we used object, we used the same, the verb to be. We use it as the same in the active.
Okay.
Is, are. Now we move to simple past. The form is object, verb to be in the past, which is was and were, and verb 3 or past participle. For example, the same sentence, but in the past. John washed the car yesterday. The car was washed yesterday by John.
So we can say, Ms. Lujane, that when we want to make passive, when we want to change a sentence from active into passive, we should follow 3 steps.
Yes.
The first step is that we should use the object as a subject.
The subject of
this
the
is step
sentence.
number 1.
Yes.
Then step number 2, we should use verb to be in the same tense or form as the active verb.
Yes.
And the last step is
Verb
to use
3.
the past participle or verb 3
Yes,
of the
of the
active
verb.
verb. Now,
Yes.
if we want to mention the doer in the passive voice, it must be followed or preceded, by the word by.
By.
But it is named in this case the agent.
Yes.
By, then the agent. But it is often not mentioned.
Omitted.
We mention it when we feel that the information is not complete.
Yes.
We should complete the information by mentioning the agent
When
in the
we are
passive.
interested to know
Yes,
about
yes,
the doer
yes.
of the
That's,
agent. Yes.
Thank you very much. That's everything about the 2 simple tenses.
Yes.
The simple present and the simple past. Mr. Mazin, would you please go on to talk about the continuous tenses?
Yes.
Sorry, maybe Mr. Jane wants to
Yes,
talk about them.
yes.
It's okay, then we can talk
Same,
about
yes.
the
we are
perfect
going-
tenses with Mr. Mazin.
We are going to
Okay.
talk about the continuous tenses.
Okay.
Present continuous, of course we know, as we mentioned, object becomes first, verb to be plus being, be plus ing plus verb 3 or past participle. For example, in the active voice, John is washing the car. The car becomes the object of the sentence. The car is being washed. This is the present continuous. In the past continuous, the same, but we use the past forms of the verb to be, which is object plus was and were or were plus being plus verb 3 or past participle. They were building a dam. A dam was being built. Yes, these are the simple tenses and the continuous tenses in the passive voice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
you, Miss Lujane. Mr. Mazin,
Yeah.
now we can talk about the perfect tenses. I mean the present perfect, the past perfect, how to make them passive, please.
Yes. The active sentence concerning present perfect, subject plus have has plus verb 3. When we transform it or change it into the passive, the structure or the form is object have has plus been plus verb 3. Example, the strong wind has destroyed many houses. Many houses have been destroyed by the strong wind. This is about the present perfect.
Yes.
The past perfect, we know that the past perfect tenses, we have the structure or the form of the active subject plus had plus verb 3. Example, the driver stopped after he had seen smoke coming out of the lorry's engine. When we change it into the past, we have to change the places. The object had been plus verb 3. So the sentence becomes, the driver stopped after the smoke had been seen coming out of the lorry's engine.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Yes.
Now, also we can talk about the auxiliary verbs. When we have an auxiliary verb
Modal.
with a zero form,
Yes.
the modal auxiliary
Yes,
verbs,
the modal.
modal. Yes, what or how can we
Yes.
make the sentence passive in this case? With examples, of course.
Yes. We know that, all the students know that the modals we have can, could, will, would, shall, should, may, might, must, had better. These are modals. So when we change change the sentence into the passive, we have to start with the object and then the same modal, the same auxiliary verb, plus be plus verb 3. Example, the strong wind can destroy many houses. Many houses can be destroyed by the strong winds. So as we can see, we have the object can plus be plus verb 3 and by and the subject. Concerning, let's move into must. We must move people from their homes before building the dam. So here the sentence becomes, people must be moved from their homes before building the dam.
Good. Then I think we have a good exercise. In this exercise, of course, we ask the student to choose the correct form between brackets.
Yes.
I think we have covered everything about the passive. We talked about the main idea of the passive voice, why we use the passive voice in real life, why do we use such a structure in real life. Then we talked about the 3 steps to make passive. We gave some examples about different tenses, and now we have let's say a short exercise about this. Miss Lujane, please.
Yes. We have to choose the correct form here. If you get hungry, you can buy, can be bought snacks at the shop. Of course, we choose can buy.
Now, here the student should notice that the 2 choices between the brackets, Miss Lujane, the first one is in the active, can buy.
Yes.
And the second choice
Is in the passive.
is in the passive. Now, let's say that some students cannot distinguish or differentiate between the 2 forms. How can they feel or know that this sentence is written in the active voice and this sentence is written in the passive voice? I'd like to tell the students, in general, when you read any sentence,
Yes.
dear students, and you feel that this sentence tells you what the subject did or what the subject does. I mean, the subject is the sender of the action, the doer. You see, Umar broke the window. Here we talk about what the subject did, so it is in the active. But when you read a sentence, and this sentence tells you that what happened to the subject, what will happen to the subject. I mean, the subject is the receiver of the action, not the sender. For example,
The object is the
my school was built in 1990. So here, I'm not talking about
Who
someone who built
the
the school. I'm
Yes.
talking about the school itself. My school
The
was
action of
built.
building, yes.
So my school as a subject here in the second sentence, in the new sentence, is the receiver. Is the receiver of the action. Okay, the object becomes the subject. So it was an object, my school. They built my school in 1990. This sentence is in the active. But when we say my school was built in 1990, becomes the passive.
Yes.
So here the subject, the new subject, is the receiver.
Yes.
That's how, dear students, you can
Differentiate.
distinguish between them. So here, between the brackets, we have two choices. The
Yes.
first one is in the active,
Active.
can buy,
Can
and
buy.
the second one can be bought,
Can be bought in
is
the
the passive.
yes.
So if you get hungry,
You can buy.
why? Because you
Because
here
you.
is the doer.
Yes.
Yes.
You will do the action.
because
So
The
you can
emphasis
buy.
on the
Of course,
subject.
we can't say you can be bought.
No. No.
Okay, go on, please.
every year the islands are visited by thousands of tourists. So are visited, so the answer is are visited, because here we are talking about the islands which receive the
Action.
the action.
Yes.
3. Paper is recycled or recycles to make new products. Again, paper is recycled.
Paper is not a person.
Yes. It can
Paper
recycle
cannot
itself.
recycle itself. So here is recycled.
Yes.
We talk here about what happens
To the
to
paper.
the subject, not what the subject does.
Did.
So it is the passive.
Yes.
We should choose the passive form, not the active form. Good. Mr. Mazin,
Number
please.
4, natural disasters can be predicted or can predict by scientists more accurately these days. So again, we are talking about natural disaster, and natural disaster cannot predict the action, so they cannot predict.
We predict them
Yes,
as human
scientists.
beings. Yes.
Scientists, people can predict the natural
So
disaster.
here, like what? When you talk about natural disasters, like what? Volcanoes,
It's like
earthquakes,
volcano,
tsunamis,
tsunamis,
hurricanes,
hurricanes. Yes.
any natural disaster.
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Now, 5. New walls are being built around the village now. Here we have
I think both of them
Both of
here
them
are
are
passive.
passive,
But
yes.
I mean the tense here
Yes.
is different.
Yes. How do we
So-
know? We have an indicator now.
Yes, we have now
Yes.
at the end of
At
the
the
sentence.
end of the sentence.
Good.
So we are going to
So we
choose
are
are
talking here about an action that is happening now at the time of
present
speaking.
continuous. Yes.
So we should use the present continuous
Yes,
form,
are being-
not the simple form.
No, not the simple.
Good,
Are being built. New walls are being built around the village now.
good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I think it's a good idea, Mr. Mazin, to talk about the relative clauses and the relative pronouns. Maybe Miss Lee Jane wants to talk about this. I'm so sorry.
It doesn't-
Okay, let's go on.
Yes. The use of relative clauses. The relative clauses identify which person or thing we are talking about. The man, for example, who or that I was talking to is my uncle. Here I am identifying the man. I used who or that I was talking to my uncle. Tourists who come to Syria usually go to Busra. Here I'm not talking about all the tourists in general. I am talking about the tourists who come to Syria in specific. I used who usually go to Busra. Relative clauses, I use it to give extra information about something or someone. Use which for things. I use which for things, who for people. We always separate the extra information from the rest of the sentence by commas. For
Yes.
example,
Yes.
my uncle. Yes, you want to talk? Yes.
Relative clause. Example, my uncle who works in a hotel is coming to visit us soon. So here we are talking about my uncle, and so we use the relative pronoun who. Number 2, tourists in Syria usually go to Damascus, which is the capital city. So tourists in Syria usually go to Damascus. We are talking about Damascus, and Damascus is a thing. Let me say it's not people, so we use which to indicate Damascus. Number 3, you cannot use that in extra information sentence. So you cannot leave out who or which. Yes. Mr. Basil, what do you think about this?
Yes, here sometimes you are asking me about the relative pronoun that. Of course, we know that that is more common with things than with people. Sometimes we can use that with people,
Yes.
but it is more common with things, not with people. But sometimes, of course, we can omit the relative pronoun when there is a subject after it. I mean, when I talk about my car, let's say, this is the car which I bought last week. So after which we have a subject which is I, or that I bought, okay? So because I have a subject, I can omit the relative pronoun. I can say, this is the car I bought last week. So there is no need to say which or that. We can omit it. Both cases are correct. But sometimes when that or which is the subject or the object, we cannot omit it. When, for example, say, this is the car which costs 2 million Syrian pounds, for example. Okay, so which here is the subject and costs is the verb. So we cannot omit it because we cannot say this is the car costs. You see, this is the car cost. No, we need to relate some information to the car. So we need to use which here in this case. We cannot omit it.
Yes.
I think the idea is clear now.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Read the following sentences and choose the correct answer. So, dear students, here we have example about the use or the use of which and who in a sentence, and you have to choose between brackets. Number 1, Mrs. Hayek, which or who is a teacher at my school, is leaving soon. So we have Mrs. Hayek. She is she is, a person, and so we have to use who.
Who with people, which
Yes.
with things. That's
Yes.
it. Okay.
Number 2, the charity, which or who, is based in France. Again, here we are talking about
A charity,
think.
an institution,
Yes.
or an organization, not people.
Not people, not a person. So we choose which.
Yes.
Is based in France, has several projects in Africa too.
Number 3, my cousins, which who live in Denmark, email us often. So here we are talking about people, and so we have to use who after cousins.
Yes.
She told me she had passed her test, which who was really good news. Here we are talking about the news. It's a tricky one.
Yes.
Yes.
I think this sentence may cause some confusion,
Yes.
a little bit.
Yes.
Why? Because at the beginning of the sentence we say
have
she told me she had passed her test. So we are talking about a girl. Then we have another choice. Which who was really good news. What was the good news?
Passing the test.
Passing the test. So we are talking here about an issue,
Yes.
not a person. Because of that, we have to use which, but not who.
So also they have to complete reading the sentence.
Yes, of
to
course. They have to continue.
Yes.
They have to complete till the end. We advise the students, in fact, especially in the final exam, to read the whole sentence. Don't be in a hurry, dear
Yes.
students. You have to read the whole sentence to understand it very well. Then you have to decide which choice is the correct one.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay. Question tags.
Now, I think there is a very important topic in grade 9. It is only mentioned in grade 9, in fact. When we talk about questions in English in general, we know that we have 3 types of questions. We have the WH questions, we have yes-no questions, and we have question tags. Of course, question tags cannot be used in, let's say, written English. I mean, they are used in spoken English only. When we speak, we use them when we speak with other people. That's it. How to use them, how to make them, that's very important, and I want answers.
Yes.
Maybe Mr. Mazin can talk about
Yes.
that, please.
Question tags. We use question tags, many questions at the end of sentences to ask for information or to check information or to make a question sound more polite. So when we want to know that our information is correct or not, we use the question tag.
You mean when we feel that we are not sure?
We are sure or not sure. We want to just to understand that the question or the sentence.
Not
or
100%.
100%.
I know,
Yes.
for example, that you live in the countryside.
Yes.
Maybe, Mr. Mazin, you live in the countryside, don't you?
Yes, I do.
You see? So I want to make sure here.
Yes.
That's it. Okay.
Positive question, negative tag. So when we have the sentence, when the sentence, yes, is positive, tag is going to be negative. Example, you are tired, aren't you? So we change the places. We just between the subject and the auxiliary verb, and we negate or make the auxiliary verb negative. Example, you are tired, aren't you? You can speak English, can't you?
You mean any question tag consists of 2 words,
Yes.
the auxiliary verb and the pronoun.
Yes.
The pronoun which refers to the subject of the sentence. We cannot use a noun in question tags. Pronouns are only used in question tags. And you have mentioned something else. If the sentence is positive, the question tag must be negative.
Negative.
And if the sentence is negative, the question tag must be positive. That's it. Good. 2 words only.
Yes, and we have to know also that we use only the short form. Yes, negative. We cannot say
Not are not you.
Yes, are not you. Or
It's wrong.
is not you. Yes,
Yes,
it's wrong.
yes.
Isn't, aren't, can't, and
Only the short form.
the short form.
Good. Now,
Yes.
let's have this nice example here. I think it's a good example. Mr. Mazin, please.
What is Mike doing? Someone is asking, what is Mike doing? The answer, you are studying, aren't you? So, 2 friends are talking to each other. One of them wants to know that his friend is studying or whether he is studying or not. So he using question tag at the end
Of the sentence.
of the sentence. You are studying, aren't you? Yes.
Okay.
It's complete.
More examples.
More
please.
examples. You are studying, aren't you? So here we have the sentence is positive, the tag is negative. The second example, you aren't studying,
Of course,
are you?
here the smiling face, and in the first example, resembles or symbolizes the positive sentence, and maybe the sad face symbolizes the negative form. Okay, so we have a positive form, negative form,
negative form.
2 faces, smiling face and a sad face
Positive,
maybe.
negative, yes.
Okay.
Yes. The second one, you aren't studying, are you? So the first sentence is negative, the tag is positive.
Before we go on, Mr. Mazin, I think We have a call from Yara. Good afternoon, Yara. Yara.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I have a question, page 43 in activity.
First of all, where are you calling us from?
What?
You are calling us from Homs, aren't you?
Is this topic for exam, please?
Yara.
Yeah.
Are you calling us from Homs?
I don't listen very well.
Are you calling us from Homs?
Are you from Homs?
Are you from Homs?
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you. Okay. What's your question?
Is this topic for exam?
What page? Sorry. What page?
Yeah, I'm from home.
Okay, what page, Yara? Listen to me from the telephone, not from the TV.
I don't listen very well.
Close.
You have to listen to me from the telephone, Yara. The telephone. What page? What book?
Page 43.
What book?
Activity.
Activity, please.
43.
Okay.
Can I see the topic, please?
43.
Would you read the...
Yes.
Would you please, Mr. Mazen,
The
read
topic.
the question?
Writing. Write instruction
Is
use.
this topic for exam?
Okay. Here, this, let's say, composition is about how to make tea.
Yes.
To write some instructions,
Instructions.
maybe, to explain how to make tea or coffee,
Yes.
something like that.
Tea.
How to make a drink, maybe.
Yes.
Okay, Yara?
Yeah, okay.
Yara, this or such kinds of questions are considered a practice in the classroom. Okay? It's just a practice for training the students how to use English, how to write some instructions in the classroom. But it is not, in fact, a composition which can be, let's say, put in the final exam. No. Okay?
Okay.
So it is important for the students in the classroom, but it's not important as an exam, of course, because it is not composition. Okay?
Okay.
What do you have
Okay.
another question?
No.
Okay, thank you
you.
very much. Good luck. Thank you. Okay, let's go back. A nice question. We know, dear colleagues, dear students, before we go on, that there are many questions in the two books which are considered or can be considered as, let's say,
Practices.
a kind of practice.
Classroom
But
activity.
sometimes, classroom activities, that's it. Thank you, Mr. Mazin. But sometimes we cannot consider them, or let's say, good questions for a final exam. Why? Because how to make tea, I don't think that it is a composition. What we want from composition is to make the student write or expresses himself, write his own words, his own sentences about something important in life. You see, to describe your city, for example, to talk about an adventure, to talk about a holiday, etc. We have many compositions in the two books, but not to make tea. Of course, all of us know how to make tea, but not in the exam. Not in Ramadan, not now. Maybe after breakfast, right?
After breakfast.
Oh, okay. Let's go on, Mr. Mazin.
Question tag. You are studying. The question tag is aren't you. As we can see, we have subject you and the auxiliary is are. So we just make it like aren't you. So we make the sentence, the question tag negative, and we use the short form, and then we put the subject.
Good. So,
Yes. For further examples. About
okay, more
question
examples,
tags,
please.
yes. You are staying here. We see it's a positive sentence, so we write it.
Yes.
Aren't you? It's the question tag. She isn't late. It's negative. In the question tag, is she? They were at home at 6 p.m. Weren't they? He wasn't shopping, was he?
Good.
These are further examples
Nice,
about question
nice,
tag.
nice.
Now we are going to talk about do, does, did, have, and has.
Okay,
How to use it. Of course, in the simple tenses.
okay.
Yes. For example, they like eggs. It's simple present. They like eggs. The question tag is don't they. We use do. we add the negative form, don't, and the and question mark.
Good.
She plays tennis very well. Of course, here we use does and the negative form, so it becomes doesn't she.
Yes.
You came. This is the simple past. You came late last night. We use did and the negative form didn't, you, and question mark.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
The idea is very clear.
Yes.
Positive, negative, positive, negative, positive,
Negative,
negative.
positive.
Yes, the
Yes.
symbol are very,
Yes, yes.
very beneficial here.
Yes, yes.
We
Thank
have further
Very clear.
examples. Yes.
Let's go on.
Yes.
If, Mr. Mazen,
Yes.
the sentence is negative, I
Yeah.
think we do the opposite.
The opposite. The tags is positive.
Yes.
They don't like eggs, do they? She doesn't play tennis.
Mr. Mazen, I'm so sorry, before we go on, we have another call. Dala from Tartus. Good afternoon, Dala.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, Dala. Your question, please.
I have a question in activity book.
What page?
question 4 باز 50.
What?
page?
Sorry?
What page?
What page?
باز 50.
Page 50?
50.
60 or 50?
60 or 50, I'm sorry. Raise your voice, Dala. 60 or 40 or 50?
50, 50.
50.
50, okay. What unit? What unit?
Okay, also maybe it's about composition.
What is your question, Dala?
Question 4.
What? Exercise 4?
Complete the question and answer. Use will or want.
Uh-huh.
If.
Okay, Mr. Mazen.
Okay.
You are asking about the conditionals, right?
What's
About the
what's your
conditionals?
question?
Your
Bilal?
question, to do the exercise, do you want us to do the exercise for you? Or is there a sentence which you feel difficult?
What you do if you be late?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
Mr. Mazen.
Yes, what will you do if you are late? This is the answer. So, you know, if we close, we have...
Answer.
Sorry? What will you do if you are late?
Answer.
Yeah.
The answer here, we have no answer. Here it is a practice about if we close.
If I...
What will you do? If I ask you, yes, let me say, if I ask you, what will you do?
Let's use the book. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Here we are. We can use the laptop. Page 50, exercise 4. Here. Number 1, right? Dala?
Number 2.
Dala? Number 1 or 2?
A.
One.
Number 1.
1. What you do if you be late? Here you have to use will. What will you do if you are late? Or what would you do if you were late? Here we can, I think, use both cases, right? Maybe Dala is asking about which form to be used in the conditionals. What can we use here? The first type of conditionals, Mr. Mazen, or the second type of conditionals maybe? I think both of them can be used here, because in the rubric,
Yes.
in the rubric of the question, there is no mentioning at all they are not asking us to use would, for example. They ask us to use will or won't. So here we have only the first type of conditionals. We have to use will. Now, Dala maybe thinks that we need an answer to this question. No, Dala. Here it is a question to be formed in the conditionals, if a clause. We are training you to make a conditional sentence. That's it. There is no need to answer it. Okay, Dala.
Hello.
Dala, are you with me? What will you do if you are late at school? What will you do? What will you do?
If you are late.
Do you go back home, for example? Or you enter the school and apologize from your teacher and promise him not to come
come
late again, right? So there is no need to write an answer here, Dala. That's it. No answer. Just write this question in the correct form. You have only to use will or what. But when we use will, we have to use are. Be is verb to be, becomes are. What will you do if you are late? That's it. Do you have another question?
Yes.
What? What is your question?
Student's book.
Student's book, what page? What page, Dala?
66.
Page?
Verse 66.
66.
66. Okay, let's see
Okay.
it.
What's your question, Dala?
66, I think it is in Unit 8. Yes. Okay. What's your question? What about it? Dala?
Is it a project?
No, it is a project, so it is not important for the exam. It can be considered an activity
Can be done in the
outside the
classroom.
classroom or
Yes.
inside the classroom.
Yes.
That's it. Classroom activities. Project. It is a project. It is not important for the exam. Okay? Dala,
Yes.
when you read project, it means a project at school,
Yes.
not in the final exam.
And look here, we have optional.
Okay?
It's not.
And it is written, if you look at the right of the page, at the top, here we have the word optional. So it's up to you and up to the teacher. If you have time, you can do this project at school, but not in the final exam. So it's not important for the exam. What else? Dala, can you hear me?
Yes,
No.
yes,
Do you have another question?
yes.
What?
The missing word.
Sorry?
The final
Missing
exam.
word. What's about it?
Missing
Aha.
words.
You are asking about the missing words. What about them? You mean
They are missing.
what kind of missing words will be in the exam, for example? Okay.
How is it come in the exam?
Aha, a good question.
Very good.
Okay, any functional word, dala, can be put in the exam. For example, an auxiliary verb can be a missing word. A connecting word can be a missing word.
Tenses.
A relative pronoun can be a missing word. Preposition,
Question
an
tags.
article, a question tag, an auxiliary
tenses
verb,
verb.
Mr.
Auxiliary
James.
verb,
An
yes.
auxiliary verb, like don't, doesn't, didn't, can't, aren't, weren't, and so on. Or in, on, at, a preposition, by, etc. For example, connecting word, and, but,
Because,
many
so.
words. It depends. It depends. Relative pronouns, as I said, who or which, an article, a or an or the, sometimes the definite article, many words. So any functional word can be a missing word. Okay?
Okay. From grammar.
What? Sorry?
From grammar.
From grammar, yes, it has to do with the grammar.
Of course, I told you, a functional word. It must have a grammatical function in the sentence.
Yes.
But not a word like, for example,
Vocab.
computer, or adventure, or volcano. No, volcano, the word volcano cannot be a missing word. Earthquake cannot be a missing word because it doesn't have a functional or a grammatical function.
Okay.
Okay? Dala.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. Do you have another question?
Yes.
What? In a hurry, please. Listen to me from the telephone, Dala, not from the TV. Please, use the telephone. Your question.
Report the question.
Your question.
Fourth question.
Yes? What is it?
Report the speech.
We are going to explain everything about the reported speech.
Just,
When you finish your call, Dala.
okay.
That's it. Okay? We have time to explain the reported speech. That's
Okay.
it. We are going to explain it. Don't worry. Okay, Dala?
Okay.
Okay. We wish you good luck. Thank you very much. We wish you good luck in the exam. Goodbye. Thank you. Thank you. Dala has prepared
Many
a number
questions.
of questions, but they
good.
were all good questions, and she has the right to ask all these
Yes.
questions,
Yes.
of course. Let's go back to
Into-
the question tags.
Yes, they
We
don't.
were talking about
Negative.
the negative.
Negative and the
Yes.
positive tag.
Okay.
They don't like eggs, do they? She doesn't play tennis very well, does she? You didn't come late last night, did you?
Yes. Good.
Yes.
Now, Miss Jane, please.
Many. Yes.
Okay. He has written 3 letters. Hasn't she? They haven't left early, have they? She can speak French very well, can't she?
Good.
Yes.
Yes.
You like chocolate cake, don't you? She painted her house, didn't she? Last week, didn't she? Yes.
Yes. Read.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exercises.
Exercises about question tag.
Yes.
You know. Read the following sentences and choose the correct answer. Number 1, the children left the door open. Did they or didn't they? Here the sentence is positive, so the tag
In the 3 examples, the last slide maybe in question tags, Mr. Kareem, Mr. Mazen,
yes.
has written, hasn't, here we have a copying mistake. The subject is he, and here the pronoun in the question tag is she. We should say hasn't he, not she, of
hasn't
course.
he.
Yes, there is a copying mistake, thank you. He has written 3 letters. Hasn't he, not
Yes.
hasn't she, of course.
Okay.
Yes, thank you very much. And the last one, it's very clear. Now we can
Move to
talk.
exercises.
We have an exercise. Okay, Miss
Yes,
Mr.
Mr. Mazen.
Mazen.
Yes, the children left the door open. So did they? Didn't they? So the sentence is positive. The question tag is going to be negative. The answer is didn't they?
Yes.
And we are talking about the verb left because left is in the simple past. So the answer is going to be didn't they?
Good.
Yes. Next.
Number 2, you can speak English. Can you or can't you? We choose can't you. It's the
negative form.
Yes, the negative form.
Number 3, he won't be late. Won't he, will he? As we know, that won't is the contraction of will not. So the answer is going to be will he. Yes.
They have already been to Kuwait. Have they or haven't they? Of course, haven't they? The negative form.
Yes.
He's Syrian. Hasn't he? Isn't he? Here also it's a tricky question. Some students may choose isn't, and which is the correct answer, and some students may choose hasn't, which is wrong answer. So the students have to know that after when we have has, there should be past participle or the verb 3
Thank
of
you,
the
thank you,
form.
Mr. Mazin. But I have a little bit an objection.
Yes.
I don't, in fact, like the word tricky here because I think it is a clever question, but not a tricky question. His here, the student should know, Mr. Mazin, that this is the short form of is, but not has.
Yes.
His here, he is, but not he has. Why? Because after the apostrophe s, he should notice that we have the word Syrian, which is a nationality. So here, we must use verb to be before nationality. He is Syrian. So we in fact, I'm sorry to say that, but it's not a tricky, it's not a trick. Why? Because it's a skill in grammar.
Yes.
And the student should know this skill, the short form and the full form. Thank you anyway, but it's a nice word. Thank you. Let's go on.
Yes.
Write the missing word in is.
This weather is awful. So missing word. The word weather, we have the subject is it, and the sentence is positive. So the tag is going to be negative. Isn't it?
Yes.
Another example, I can't do everything. The main sentence is in the positive form, so we write the question tag in the negative form. Can I?
Yes, thank
The
you.
missing word is can.
Yes. He is Syrian. Again, isn't he? Because the sentence is positive, the tag is negative, isn't he?
We have to wear sports shoes, don't we? The
Yes.
missing word is
Why?
don't.
Here,
Here have,
I think
yes,
we should stop here a little bit.
to explain
Because
more.
some students
Yes.
notice that we have the word have here,
Have.
which is
They
verb to
will
have.
miss it with
And they maybe think that
Haven't.
this verb here is an auxiliary verb.
for the present.
It's an auxiliary verb, by the
Yes.
way. We have to wear. So have to
Yes, have
is an
to.
auxiliary verb. But when we want to ask, we cannot say, have we to wear, for example. It's wrong to say that.
It's incorrect.
Do we have to?
Yes.
Or don't we have to wear? Right? So in the question tag,
we use
should
the
use
auxiliary verb do.
do or don't.
Don't we?
Yes.
It takes.
It takes 5 hours to get there. Here we have the verb takes, and it's
Simple present with S.
with S, so we have to use
Doesn't.
doesn't it?
Yes. Thank you very much. Now, we hope that Dala is still with us.
Yeah.
Now we can talk about the reported speech. Maybe Dala asked about the reported
Yes, Dala.
speech. Maybe Miss Lujane will start with the reported speech. Am I right?
Yes.
When we talk about the reported speech, dear students, we should know that we can report a sentence. We can report a question. When talking about reporting questions, we should know that we have two types of questions, WH questions
Yes.
and yes-no questions. Now, would you please start with how to report sentences, Ms. Lujane, please.
Of course, to report what someone said, we use said or told to report what someone said to someone else.
Yes.
For example, Salma is talking to Ali here. Ali, I'm sorry about what happened. So we have to report what Salma said. We use told. Salma told Ali that she was sorry about what had happened.
Before we go on,
Okay.
we have a call from Homs, maybe
Please look.
Maysoon from Homs. Good afternoon, Maysoon. Maysoon,
Hello.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you, Maysoon?
I'm fine.
You're calling us from Homs?
Yes.
Good. What is the weather like in Homs?
It's sunny.
Sunny,
It's sunny
really? Good. Nice weather
Yeah.
in Homs. Not only the weather, the people of Homs are nice too.
It's a nice city.
Okay, nice city.
Thank you.
Welcome. Your question, please.
The 9 lesson,
Listen,
page 53.
listen
Activity?
9, unit 9.
53,
Yes.
activity or student?
Activity.
53.
Activity book, page
Question, page
Sorry.
53.
53. Here we are.
Yes.
Now, okay, we
Question
can.
5.
Question
53.
Question 5.
Question 5 in exercise 5.
It
Yes.
says
Okay.
choose
Uh-huh.
the correct words
Okay, which sentence?
for the question.
كله.
All the question.
All the question.
Okay,
Okay.
why not?
Okay.
Let's start with Mr. Mazen,
Yes.
please.
This painting, the choices is being painted by Monet in the 9th century. So the answer, Mason, is going to be was, because we have the 9th century.
Maysoon,
Esther.
Yes, sir.
you can speak in English, right? Okay. Look at the end of the sentence, in the 19th century. We are, as you know, now in the 21st century. So the 19th century is something in the past, right?
Yes.
So we should use the
Was.
past simple.
Was.
So is wrong, not correct. Is being is also wrong. So we need to choose was. Was here is the correct answer. Okay?
Yes.
Good. Next one,
Yes,
please,
yes.
Ms. Lujane.
Number 2, the ancient pyramids built by the Egyptians, A, were B are being, C are. B and C are in the present continuous and in the simple present. We don't have to use present here. We only have to use the past because it's ancient.
Why?
The word
when
ancient.
we say the ancient pyramids
Yes.
were built by the Egyptians, right?
They are not being built.
We are talking about something which
Happened in
were
the past.
built in the past, not now.
Yes.
Right, Maysoon?
Yes.
So we need to use the past, not the present, okay?
Where?
Where? Yes.
Yes, of
Where?
course. Very good,
A,
Maysoon.
where?
Now, I want to ask Maysoon. Can I?
Yes.
Maysoon, would you please read sentence number 3?
Today, millions of mobile phone calls.
Made every second. What is the first word in the sentence? The first word. Today, right?
Yeah, right.
Today. So today refers to the present, Maysoon, right?
Yes.
It's
Are being.
very good, Maysoon.
Very good.
Very
Are
good. Are being made. You see?
Yes.
You know now how to do the exercise. Very good. Number 4. Can you do number 4?
Number 4.
Traditionally on this
was,
day, special food eaten, and this is still the case
Was.
today. Was.
For what?
Traditionally on this day, special food was eaten, and this is still the case today.
Today.
Yes.
Was.
Okay.
Was, correct. Was.
Yes.
Was.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. You're correct. The last one. Exams in Syria, usually done at the end of each school semester, are usually
Yes.
done. Very good. Why? Because we have the word usually.
Usually.
So we are
Usually.
talking about a routine, about something which happens every year, not only in the
Habitually.
past, not only in the future. It happens
Habitually.
every year, right? So we need to use the present simple, not the past one.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Do you have another question, Maysoon?
In the student book.
What page?
No, project optional.
Okay.
Project optional.
Which page? 66?
66.
6.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
This
What
is
about
a
it?
Project.
It is a project, Maysoon.
Project optional.
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 Yes.
Yes.
So it is a project. And it is optional. It
it
is
is
not
important?
obligatory.
No.
It is important.
No. It is optional, not obligatory, not important for the final exam. No.
Yes.
Not required.
Yes.
It is a project at school,
Yes.
not in the exam.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay?
Yes.
Do you have another question?
No.
Okay, Maysoon, we wish you good luck. Thanks for
Thank
your
you.
call.
Thank you, Maysoon.
Thank you. Okay, let's go back, please.
We were talking
We
about
were-
the reported speech.
Yes.
Yes.
So, Miss Lujane was talking about the reported speech, about how to report sentences. You said that we
someone
use two verbs
Yes.
where we want to report any sentence.
use
We
say
can use said
Or told.
or told.
Yes.
Yes, please.
For example, Salma, Ali, I am sorry about what happened. So Salma is talking to Ali here. We have to report what Salma said. We say, Salma told Ali that she was sorry about what happened.
Good.
Salma said that here she was sorry about what had happened. That here can be omitted.
Yes, of
Yes,
course.
we can.
Why?
After that-
Because we have a subject after it.
Yes.
Thank you, Miss Lujane.
Yes.
We have a subject.
We have a subject.
Good.
So we can say Salma said she,
She
was
was
sorry about
So
what.
that here is optional.
Optional.
It doesn't change the meaning at all. Yes. of
And in
course.
the previous sentence, not only this one, Salma told Ali she was sorry.
Yes.
So
That
that here
can
is
be
again
omitted.
is optional. Yes,
Yes.
can be omitted.
Yes.
Good.
Tenses in the reported speech, of course, change.
Yes.
For example, we start with the simple present. Simple present becomes simple past. For example, Alice. Alice, I work in an office. We say Alice said she worked. We write the simple past of the verb work, which is worked, in an office. So the simple present becomes the simple past. Simple past becomes past perfect. Alice, I worked in the garden. Alice said she had worked in the garden. Present continuous becomes past continuous. Alice, I am working in the garden. Alice said she was working in the garden. The past continuous becomes past perfect continuous. Alice, I was working in the garden. Alice said she had been working in the garden. So
Thank you.
tenses change
So
in the
any
reported
sentence
speech.
in the reported speech, we should go a step backward
Yes.
in the tense.
Yes.
That's it. If
Past.
it is simple present, it becomes simple,
Simple
past.
past.
Why? Because the introducing verb or the reporting verb is in
Is
the
in the
past.
past. Said
When we
or
say
told.
she told us, they said, so it is past. So we should choose past,
Past,
or
yes.
make it past. Any past form is correct. Mr. Mazen,
Yes.
please. Now, we can talk about reporting questions.
Yes.
As I said, we have two types of questions, WH questions and yes-no questions. Please.
Yes. Reported questions, report WH questions. The example, why are you laughing? This is a question. It becomes in the reported speech. He asked me why I was laughing. So here we have to notice about the change of the word or the sentence.
Inversion.
Inversion.
We have an inversion.
Yes, inversion. We have
Between
to
the subject
and
and
the verb.
the auxiliary verb.
Yes, the
Yes,
auxiliary.
because
verb.
here we are not asking.
Yes.
I
You
mean,
are-
why are you laughing? This is someone's question.
Yes.
Now, when for example, Lujain asked me, what did man ask you? I need to tell her, he asked me why I was laughing. I'm not asking. I'm not asking.
Just
now.
reporting.
Reporting his question.
Yes.
We have, before we go on, we have another call. We have a lot of calls. Maybe Hama, sorry, no call.
We lost it.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We have lost the call. It's okay. Let's go back.
Yes. What are you going to do after school? This is normal question. We want to report this question. We have another way to report the question. We have he asked it, or she, or he wanted to know. So she wanted to know what I was going to do after school. Again, we have inversion between the auxiliary verb and the subject.
Good. Now, we should know also, the students themselves, that when we say he asked me, when the student says that, he is the speaker now, not the person, I mean, not another one. I mean, in the first question, why are you laughing? These words are not my words, not your words, not his words, someone's words. But when I say, he asked me why I was laughing, I am the speaker now. I'm talking about that person who asked me such a question or this question. So there must be some changes, Mr. Mazen.
Yes.
We need to change or replace some pronouns maybe,
Yes.
to change the tense. Sometimes we need to change adverbs,
Adverbs.
of place and time.
Yes.
That's it. Okay.
Reported questions. To report or reporting yes/no questions. We can use ask or wanted to know plus if or whether. So when the difference between WH question and yes/no question is that WH question we have to start with WH same, whereas yes/no question we have to start with if. Yes, this is obligatory. It's not optional. Or we can use whether, and then we use the verb, the subject, and then the auxiliary verb, then the rest. Example.
Yes.
Did you enjoy the class? She asked me if or whether I had enjoyed the class. So the sentence, the question, yes/no question is simple past, and when we have simple past, we have to change it into
Past
perfect, and and we have to use if I had enjoyed the class.
Yes.
She wanted to know whether I enjoyed. I had.
It's the same, but maybe the beginning is
the
different.
beginning
here.
is different.
She wanted to know, or
Yes,
she asked
or
me, it's
asked
the
me.
same. Okay, now we have an exercise. No, not an exercise. We can talk, Miss Lujain, about wish.
now.
Why, let's say, in reality, sometimes we write a wish sentence. Why do we wish in reality, in general? For what reason? Because sometimes I don't like my reality. Maybe I don't like someone's behavior, and I wish he could change this habit or behavior or the situation as a whole. So I don't like my reality and I want to change it for something better. That's why we wish in reality. That's why we write a wish sentence.
Yes.
So the students should know that when they write I wish, when we say I wish, it means that I am imagining.
Yes.
I'm imagining something about now, about reality, which is not true.
Yes.
So I need to use the past after wish. Why? Because it is imagined. It is called unreal past.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen actually. It is imagined.
That's right.
It's the same case as in the conditionals type 2.
Yes.
When I say, if I were rich. So
I
here
were.
the verb were is in the past. It is imagined. I am imagining.
Situation is
It's not
imagined.
true that I am not rich, but I'm imagining if I were rich,
I
I would
would.
do so and so.
Yes.
That's it. Let's go back to
As you said, Mr. Basil,
the
we
wish,
use
please.
wish plus would to express a wish
good.
for a change in how someone behaves, for
You see?
example.
A change
Yes.
in how someone's behaves.
Yes, I don't
Someone
like his
behaves.
behavior, so
Let's say that someone smokes too much,
yes.
and I don't like his habit or his behavior,
What
and
do
I
I
want
say?
him to change it or to stop it. So what can I say?
Or if he is, for example, he is not polite. You are not polite to my friends. Okay?
Yes.
I wish you would be more polite to my friends.
Good.
Wish plus would, plus of course infinitive after would.
Mm-hmm.
Another example. I wish you wouldn't argue here with wouldn't. Of
Before
course,
we go on, I think Hussein has come back. Hussein from Hama. Good afternoon, Hussein.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I am fine, thank you.
Good. Are you working hard, Hussein? Are you
yeah.
working hard for the exam? Are you preparing very well?
Will.
We or yes?
I am preparing will.
Well, you mean. You are preparing well. Very well. We hope so. Okay. What is your question, Hussein?
Math 56. The
What
present
book?
Perfect continuous.
Which book, please?
Activity book.
In the activity book, page what?
Present perfect continuous 56.
56. 56. Here we are.
Yes.
Okay. Page 56. Exercise what?
When do you use
Which exercise, please?
exercise 1? First.
One. Okay.
circle the correct
Your
answer.
question, please.
First.
Number 1.
Yes.
What is your question? You want us to do the exercise, or you want to ask about something in specific? Number 1, for example, the word you are asking me about the verb know, for example.
When do you use it?
Present.
When do?
Do we use present perfect or present perfect continuous?
Sorry. Again, Hussein. Raise your voice. Ask your question, please. Repeat it.
When do you use it?
When do you?
When do we use it?
When do you use it? Which one?
Which one?
You
Which
mean
one?
the present perfect?
Continuous.
Continuous.
Okay.
And the present perfect sample.
Okay, simple, not sample. Simple, Hussein. Okay, thank you. Now, Hussein, what are we doing now, me and my colleagues in the studio? What are we doing? We are
Teaching.
explaining or teaching English, right? Hussein,
Hussein,
what are we doing now, me and my colleagues in the studio? Are we swimming now? We are teaching English, right?
Repeat, please.
What are we doing now? Can you hear me? Hussein,
Hello.
listen to me from the telephone. Don't listen to me
From the TV.
from the TV. Okay?
Okay.
Can you hear me now? Hussein, can you hear me? Yes or no? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. What are we doing now? Say, you are teaching English. We are teaching English, right?
You explain this English.
My God.
The English.
We are explaining grammar.
Okay.
Okay?
Grammar.
Good. We started teaching English, or we started our seminar for today at 2:30, right?
Right.
2:30. Now, how long have we been teaching English grammar? We should use the present perfect continuous. We need to say, we have been teaching English grammar since 2:30, right? Or for 1 hour, for example, more 1 hour. That's it. So, when we want to focus on the time, when we want to say how long, we need to use the present perfect continuous. Okay? But the present perfect simple is used to talk about something finished. When we say, we have studied English, it means that I have finished.
In the recent past.
I have read the story. It means that I have finished it. But when I say, I have been reading the story, it means that I'm still reading it. I haven't finished yet. Okay?
Okay.
That's it. But with since and for, we can use both of them. The present perfect simple and the present perfect continuous. I can say, I have lived in Damascus for 10 years, and I can say, I have been living in Damascus for 10 years. They can be used, both.
Coming in the exam?
Not both, of course. Not both in one bracket. No. Of course, one of them, and maybe another choice which is not correct, but not both, because we can use both with since and for. Okay?
His
Okay.
question is coming in the exam. Hussein, all the tenses are important for the exam.
Hussein, are you asking me about the present perfect? Of course it is required.
Yes.
The present perfect simple, the continuous, all tenses, as Mr. Mazen said. Everything in the book is required for the exam. But maybe Hussein asked me, can we put them together
In the same
in two
sentence.
brackets? I mean the present perfect simple and the present perfect continuous in one sentence with since and for,
No.
and ask the student to choose the correct
No.
one? Of course not, because both of them
are correct.
Okay?
Okay.
Any other question?
Page 26.
What book?
26.
26.
26?
Activity
The
also.
activity book?
Yes.
Oh. 26.
Okay.
26, okay.
Yes.
Exercise 4.
Okay.
Exercise 4, what about it?
7. Why any?
Exercise 4, number 7,
Hardly.
Why
Okay.
any?
Hardly any. Why it is any? He asked you.
Hardly any plants are able to survive in the icy Antarctic. Can you give him an
Yes,
answer?
yes.
Mr. Mazin, please.
Hardly, it's
considered-
very close to the negative sentence.
It's considered negative.
So
Hardly.
hardly, it's like
It gives us an expression of a negative situation.
So for this
Hardly.
reason, yes.
And it means it is very hard for plants to survive in the icy Antarctic. Right?
Negative, yeah.
Why? Because the weather there, or the climate there, is very cold. Right? So plants, we don't think that plants can grow or survive in such conditions.
in the
Icy
Icy
area.
conditions.
Yes.
Right.
So that's why we say hardly any plants are. Not because the word hardly, as Mr. Mazin said, gives us
the
an
impression
idea
of
or the
negative.
impression of a negative situation,
Yes.
negative sensation.
Yes.
Okay,
Negative
that's
sense.
Thank you.
sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other question?
Thank you.
Thank you
you.
very
Thank you
much.
for your
Good
call.
luck. Thank you. Let's go back now to our file. We were talking about
Wish
Miss
sentences. Yes.
Lujan, please.
We were talking about sentences, about wish sentences. We gave an example. You are not polite to my friends. This is your behavior. So, I wish you would be more polite to my friends. I wish you wouldn't argue all the time. Would and wouldn't And of course, infinitive afterward. And
Yes, yes,
wouldn't.
yes, yes.
Yes. Wish sentences. We use wish plus would to express a wish for someone to do something or for something to happen. This is imagination. Your room is not tidy. I
Tidy,
wish.
yes. You mean
Tidy, sorry.
yes.
I wish you would tidy up this mess.
Yes.
Yes. This is another example.
Mr. Basil, can we say that I wish your room weren't tidy?
Of course.
Yes.
Of course, we can say that. If we use an adjective, tidy, you mean,
Yes.
we can use verb to be, why not?
Yes.
So, the student can use his own words, express as he likes, but I mean he should follow a correct grammatical rule, which is the
is
unreal
would.
past after wish.
Wish
That's so he
plus
can
would
use his own
or
words.
wouldn't.
Why not?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
You have to complete.
Yes. To continue the sentences with wish. We use wish and the past tense verb to express a wish for the present situation to be different. This room is not very big. I wish it was a bit bigger. Or we can say, Mr. Basil, I wish I wish the room or this room wasn't small.
Yes, yes.
I can't sleep at night. I wish I could sleep at night. So as you can see, we use the simple past to express a wish for a present situation to be different. Another example or explanation for wish sentence. We use wish plus past perfect to talk about past situation that you wish had been different. So when we have present simple, we use the wish and then we use the unreal past. But when we have simple past, we use the past perfect. Example: I didn't bring a map. I wish I had brought a map. So the sentence is simple past. The sentence after which is past perfect. Another example: I studied only one language. I wish I had studied more languages at school.
Good.
We finished?
I think
Yes.
That's it.
that's it. That's everything for,
Units 9.
let's say,
Grammar.
the 4 units, the last 4 units
units.
in the 2 books. Dear students, we have tried, in fact, to cover most of the grammatical skills mentioned in the last 4 units. I think it would be a good idea, because we have maybe no time to explain text, because I think the calls were rich today, so we had a lot of calls. We can now maybe do some exercises.
Okay.
I think it would be a good idea if we go on to maybe unit 9. Some exercises are important in unit 9 in the activity book. We can, as we do them, explain some rules. We have exercise 1 at page 52, which is exercise 1. Yes, read the extracts from newspaper reports. Which of the following are they describing? Forget about this. Let's fill in the spaces.
Yes.
We have some words in the books. We have earthquake, flood, hurricane, drought, tsunami, volcano, avalanche. Right? Let's do the first one. Let me start with Mr. Mazen. Okay.
The liquid rock flowed out towards the town.
We can use the laptop if you like. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yes, please.
So the sentence, the liquid rock flowed out toward the town. So this is a volcano.
Yes.
So it explains this natural disaster, which is the volcano.
So the student's task is to know which word in the books describes the situation.
Yes.
That's it, simply. when we say the liquid rock flowed out towards the town,
It's
of course,
volcano.
I think this sentence
We are talking about
explains a volcano,
Yes.
right? Number 2.
Fast winds around the eye at over 120 kilometers per hour. We are talking about a hurricane.
Hurricane, very good, thank you.
Number 3. It measured 8.2 on Richter scale. It is the earthquake.
Very good,
Yes.
thank you.
Fourth, killer waves were 30 meters high. Tsunami.
I think it's tsunami, yes. Number 5.
The heavy rain caused the walls of the dam to break and water poured into the town. I think it's
A flood.
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 Yes.
Number 6.
There has been no rain for over 3 months and crops have failed. Drought.
No rain at all.
No rain.
No rain. Dry
Dry
weather.
Yes.
So, drought.
It's drought.
Yes.
Yes.
Huge amounts of snow began to slide down the mountain sides onto the town below. It's avalanche because we
Yes.
have snow.
Yes, thank you very much. Now, I think exercise, I think we have another exercise at page 53. Yes, page 53. We have done exercise
Yes.
5.
Yeah, we
with
have
the,
done.
with the caller. The
There is no
student.
need to do this. Let's go on to page maybe 60, 55, yes.
55.
56, 56, sorry, 56. Exercise 1.
Yes, yes.
Here we are. Can you see it?
Yes.
Circle the correct answer. Mr. Jane, please.
I have none. I have been knowing my best friend all my life. I still know him. I have known my best friend all my
Of
life.
course, we cannot say I've been
Been
knowing.
knowing.
Why? Because the,
No.
the verb
Verb
know is
A state
a
verb.
state
State
verb.
verb,
It is
yes.
not an action verb.
Yes.
It cannot be used in the continuous form.
Form,
When
so-
I want to talk about a person and to say how long I know him, I have to say I have
have
known
known.
this man all my life, or since, for example, the year 2000, or for more than 10 years, etc.
Yes.
So I have known, not I have been knowing.
Yes.
I
Good.
hope that Hussein is with us because he asked about
Yes,
this.
yes, yes.
Yes. Number 2, my mother has been teaching me to play the piano, but I can't play very well yet. So my mother has been teaching me, and she is still teaching me.
I think here we can use also has taught. Why?
Both.
She has been teaching. You mean that she hasn't finished yet?
Yes.
She's working on
She
it.
is still working.
And I need maybe more practice. This is
Yes.
what you mean, right?
Yes.
So it's okay. My mother has been teaching me to play the piano, but I can't play very well yet because maybe I need more rules
Yes.
to
More-
be taught,
more,
to
yes.
know about them
Oh,
in
I
order
need
to
more
be
time.
able to play the piano. More time, maybe. Yes.
3. I have already tidied, been tidying my room. I
Yes.
have already tidied my room.
Why? Because here
Here we have
Already.
we have the word already.
already.
Already here is used only with the present
Yes.
perfect
Perfect.
simple
Yes.
Hussein, not with the continuous. We hope Hussein is still with us.
Yes.
Okay,
Number 4, I
4.
haven't been visiting Europe yet. Also here again, yet only you is used with the present perfect symbol. I haven't
Negative form.
Yes, negative form or question form. I haven't visited Europe yet.
It means that we can use the present perfect simple to talk about something that hasn't been done yet
Yet.
or hasn't been finished yet.
Yet, yes.
That's it.
Yes,
Yet means up till now or till now.
yes.
Good.
Number 5. Hurry up. Have been talking on the phone for an hour. You are still talking. So been talking.
How did you do that?
Hurry up.
Hurry up.
From the beginning.
Yes.
The beginning.
Hurry up.
Yes.
You have been talking on the phone for
It
an
means
hour.
that you are still
and
talking.
you are still talking,
Yes.
it means. So that's why I'm asking
Yes.
you to finish your call because you have been talking for too much. Good.
Okay, number 6. Where have you been? I've been waiting for you all morning. So here we have all morning. It's only used with the present perfect continuous unless the verb is not state. When the verb is a state, we use it with the present perfect symbol.
Good.
Number 7. Lubna The post has just arrived. Been arriving, maybe there's a letter for you. We have just here, so
Yes.
we choose arrived.
Again, just
Just
is used
is
with the
present,
simple.
Simple present.
present.
Okay. Now we have a nice exercise, which is exercise 4 at page 57. It's about question tags.
Yes.
Number one, the children left the door open.
Yes.
Would you please give me the question tag directly?
Yes.
The answer.
Didn't they?
Good. Didn't. Number 2, it takes 5 hours to get there.
Doesn't it?
Doesn't, because the simple present here.
Yes.
You can speak English.
Can't you?
We have to wear sports shoes.
Don't we?
I should say sorry to him.
Shouldn't I?
He won't be late.
Will he?
And couldn't answer the question.
Could she?
It's too dark to see properly.
Isn't it?
I'm not responsible for it.
Am I?
It's not time to go home yet.
Is it?
Good. Is it? Very nice. And we have maybe another exercise
Number.
in the same page, number 5.
Yes.
They've already been to Kuwait.
Haven't they? Because have here is auxiliary
Yes.
verb.
You're the new teacher.
Aren't you?
You don't think someone stole your new bike.
Do you?
You didn't bring your coat.
Did you?
Good. And your little sister has eaten all the biscuits,
Hasn't she?
hasn't she? This weather is awful.
Isn't it?
I can't do everything.
Can I?
He's Syrian.
Isn't he?
The tricky sentence.
Clever
Okay,
sentence.
yes, the clever one. Well, dear students, we hope that we have done a number of, let's say, exercises, a number of important grammatical structures. Before we leave, I'd like my colleagues to give some pieces of advice. We are sure that the students now have been working
Yes.
hard recently because they have a final exam next month.
Yes.
After the Eid, of course. So, what do you like to advise them how to study? In 1 minute, please, Ms. Lujane. You have 1 minute
Yes.
for Lujane, 1
Yeah.
minute for Mr. Mazen.
Okay.
Okay.
I advise my students, all the students, to focus on the grammar because it's very important, and just particularly the tenses. I insist on tenses because it's the key to understand all the grammar in this book.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mazen. Ms.
Yes.
Lujane?
As Mr. Mazen said, they have to focus mainly on grammar. Texts in the books are very rich, and vocabularies are very important to know the meaning, of course. They have to read, they have to answer the questions of the text. They have plenty of time if they can organize their time
So
very well.
they have to manage their time, to have a schedule,
Yes.
timetable, sleep well, have enough sleep, have a good
If
rest,
they
right?
organize their time
And
very
eat well.
Yes. A
they
good
will
diet.
be-
Organize.
Healthy
Yes.
diet.
Yes.
Yes.
Drink juices,
Yes.
right?
Dates.
Dates. Okay, dates, eat dates. That's it. So we wish you, dear students, all the best for the final exam. It was the last seminar for grade 9 for this year. Maybe we have another seminar after some days for which will be specialized for the final exam. We will talk about the final exam. So at that time we can talk about some pieces of advice. But now, for the time being, that's all for today. Dear students, dear colleagues, this is Basil Sadiq speaking from the Syrian Educational Channel from Damascus. Let me thank Ms. Lujane Al-Nuqari, an English teacher from Homs. Thank you very much for participation. Mr. Mazen Abdul Karim, an English teacher from Damascus countryside. Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you, Mr.
participation. Till we meet, dear students, in other seminars, we wish you all the best. Goodbye. Thank you.